Welcome to hour number 3, live right here on this Friday on the early line on SportsGrid. It is our third and final hour of today's show, our final hour of this week, as we set the stage for another glorious weekend, especially in Major League Baseball ahead of the All-Star break. The final weekend sets all around the bigs, a few, actually just one, starting yesterday because of the rainout and the postponement in Chicago between the White Sox and the Guardians. But the brilliant baseball mind of one Donnie Rightside will get you set with everything that you need to know around MLB. The final weekend before the All-Star break, which comes our way at the close of action on Sunday. Home Run Derby Monday, DRS fired up. Midsummer Classic Tuesday in Atlanta. DRS, one final hour to go here on the early line on this Friday.
Exactly. The true dog days of summer. Enjoy that weekend here where they have your headphones on being like, is it Stacy? Is it Becky? Is it Keisha? I mean, come on now. Let's get the party started. It's the weekend here, man. That's going to be playing at the barbecue this weekend.
Yeah. Hey, how I feel right now.
I mean, look, we're on cable. You can say what you want. You can say what you want on cable. You know what I mean? Come on. Let's go. You want to say the lyrics? Go ahead.
With some things said on the early line in the last 24 hours, I think we got to keep it squeaky clean. Just my own. Disavow certain things. DRS, by the way, an update from semifinal Friday in the men's draw at the All-England Club at Wimbledon. We are tied at a set apiece between Carlos Alcaraz, the hefty favorite to win his third consecutive Wimbledon crown, and the American making it further than he ever has at Wimbledon, Taylor Fritz. Alcaraz won the first set. Fritz responds 7-5 in the second. Alcaraz, who was a minus 580 favorite to advance back to the final, beating Fritz today. Still a live favorite, tied at a set apiece, but now minus 370. We've already got one American, Amanda Anisimova, on the women's side into the final tomorrow. She'll take on Iga Swiatek, a hefty underdog, but heck, she's already upset the world number one in Arina Sabalenka yesterday in the semis. Taylor Fritz joined the last American man to win at Wimbledon, Pete Sampras, back in the year 2000.
Yes, and how about this, too? Like Jannik Sinner, Djokovic here coming up. Minus 235 favorite for Sinner, plus 190 for Djokovic a little bit later today. So if Fritz can get through Alcaraz Island right now, could he take down Djokovic? I mean, as Djokovic is getting dog price plus 190, tennis people, help me out. Is that a good price on the Joker out there?
I think it really is, DRS. Now, the Joker is kind of passing things along to this new era. Novak Djokovic kind of sandwiched in between of the former era, that of course he was a big three involving Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, still doing it with that longevity, kind of at the tail end of the big three between now Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz. Alcaraz 22, Sinner 23, Novak I believe 36 or 37. But Djokovic has lost to Alcaraz in the last two Wimbledon finals. He has been there. Jannik Sinner has never reached a Wimbledon final in his career, and prior to losing to Alcaraz in the last two gentlemen's finals, if you will, DRS, it was Novak Djokovic winning 4 consecutive Wimbledon championships. So I would keep an eye on that plus money price on Novak.
By the way, also taking a look here at some, going through the sports book landscape here. How about Alcaraz live at minus 370, Djokovic in his match plus 190, and add a boost on there. You get a plus 350 price on that bet. How about that? Tasty.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tasty.
Say no more, my friend.
Tasty.
Say no more. Let me add that.
John, what's on the 10-17 start? So hold on. Wait a second.
No.
I'm seeing like on.
Yeah.
That's not the right time.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, we got double.
No. But you got to take over.
Let me hear me
Go
out.
ahead. Yeah.
Hear me out. Wimbledon Center Court, 2 courts, both matches side by side. Kevin Walsh would love that.
Yeah.
And so would everybody else.
And I will just say, why even list a price for the second match of the semifinals? It's not going to be on court 1. It's going to be on center court. It's going to start probably half an hour after the conclusion of this match between Taylor Fritz and Carlos Alcaraz. It is listed not just on sports books, but your favorite sports app in terms of the schedule today. It is dumb. We need Commissioner Rightside in there for it. And Commissioner Rightside, you were trying to kind of organize some of the Summer League scheduling yesterday, the official start of it in Las Vegas, with a headline game, 8 p.m. Eastern time in Sin City. Bronny James and his Lakers against Cooper Flagg and his Mavs. Flagg and the Mavs getting the better of Bronny James, although neither of the two guys in that marquee billing performed all that well. Bronny James, though, in his second Summer League, entering his second year in the association. What's the career outlook going to be for LeBron's eldest son? That's what we had to ask you and Fade the Public. DRS, you know this summer we have an intern working on the early line, right?
Mm-hmm.
And his name?
Jesse?
Yeah, there we go. All right, put you on the spot.
Okay.
You did.
I mean, come on.
Come on, man. Intern Jesse, who's actually
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you do. Not here today, but I hope that he is watching, because this Fade the Public poll, really his brainchild. He might be Bronny James's number one fan, maybe even more than LeBron and Savannah. He was trying to tell me the other day down here at the office, he thinks Bronny James is going to have a successful NBA career. I asked what that meant, just like staying in the NBA for 3 to 5 seasons as a second-round pick. He said no. All-star consideration for Bronny James. I bit my tongue. I want him to think fondly of his summer at SportsGrid. DRS at SportsGrid on Twitter. What kind of playing career will Bronny James have? The options are good. Starter, bench player, Hall of Famer, or other.
No in between.
Now, most of the public, more than 70%, saying that Bronny James, if he sticks around the association, will be a reserve role player, bench player. Which way did you vote, DRS, in this Fade the Public poll?
Here's the fun part about this poll, though. It's like, okay, well, what can you be? I'm a starter in NBA. Cool, that's good. All right, if I don't start, I am a bench player. And if I'm really good, I'm a Hall of Famer. And then there's other, like, what other type of player can you be, to be honest? Like, I think it's like, what's the right answer? Because I use the other.
Like G League player, I think would be other.
Yeah, all right. So I hit other because, like, I want to sell Bronny James on Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I mean, you let me tell you something, man. We'll get you a nice job over there. You know, you can rent Pop's cars all day long, Maverick Carter, like Rich Paul. Like, you can actually get a fleet together. You can make some pretty good commissions probably on selling those cars. I think that's probably the best thing. Dad owns, like, what was it, like Blaze Pizza? Like, you could be a general manager of Blaze Pizza. There's a lot this kid can do here and be set up for life. He doesn't have to play in the NBA and just sit back and relax and enjoy it. So I did go other, figuring that there's other opportunities outside the NBA that will be certainly beneficial to him as well.
I love that for you, DRS, that your other was not like out of the NBA in 2 years or just a G League player, a two-way type of guy. You are trying to sell the son of LeBron James on working for Enterprise Rent-A-Car. If he doesn't have an NBA career, I'm not sure he will need to go to Enterprise. I think at his best, the next few years, DRS, he will be battling for bench spots and some reserve minutes with JJ Redick and the Lakers. Like, that's it. I do not believe that he is going to be an impact player at the NBA. We saw last night, he can defend. He was really good against Cooper Flagg, making shot selection very difficult. He doesn't have enough offensively, 1 of 6 from beyond the arc yesterday. I think at best he's a reserve player, but again, that's at best for the next few seasons. I don't think he has a 7 to 10 year NBA career.
Most kids are like, hey, Dad, play another year in the NBA, understanding that, like, hey, we get Dad home and it's fun to watch him on TV. But this kid is actually like, Dad, please play so I can play in the NBA. How about that?
Yeah. Baseball breakdowns, full slate Friday next.
That is the idea. It really is for in-game live. You said it. The home team, who's a double-digit or close to it anyway, favorite, and get off to a bad start and actually have them trailing by 5, 6, 7 to the point where you get it at pick'em. And I don't know how many times. I'd like to know a stat of how many times a team that's been favored by double digits, trailed by double digits, and actually won the game. I bet it's a lot.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
You've got issues up and down here. The bullpen is falling apart, to put it nicely. And have you seen the schedule for the Yankees for the rest of the month of July here? We have Seattle, then we have the Cubs, then you have Atlanta, then you have Toronto again in Toronto. That really didn't go all that well this week. And then you have Philadelphia and Tampa. Good luck to the Yankees in July here.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Knecht's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Knecht, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Knecht 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Time for the Blue Jays to really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back. Can they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue? They're looking in to be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, like, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. Like, it's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, like, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going like, ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that weren't household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
A full slate Friday around Major League Baseball, the final weekend ahead of the All-Star break, which you might consider the midway point of this MLB campaign, but do not be fooled. Every team has played more than 90 games on their march to 162 around the regular season in Major League Baseball. So DRS, as we get ready for the All-Star break, though, and at the end of this month, the trade deadline, these final few games important for positioning, both in the minds of these organizations. Are we going full in on the postseason? Are we trying to catch somebody at the top of our division? And of course, trying to be a pennant contender. One final weekend to make statements before we get ready for that All-Star break. DRS, we start in New York. The Yankees, a sweep of the Seattle Mariners this week. They desperately needed to turn things around. They have now won 4 straight after dropping 6 in a row, playing a lot better baseball. Carlos Rodon on the bump tonight. Is that Chris Flexen still throwing?
Yeah, flexing on him.
In MLB?
Flexing on him.
For the Chicago Cubs, minus 188, the price, DRS, in favor of the Pinstripes. The over-under stands at 9. The Cubbies avoided the sweep yesterday in Minneapolis. They now travel to the Bronx. Pete Crow Armstrong, sensational for the Cubbies yesterday. Aaron Judge, the walk-off RBI sac fly winner in the 10th inning. What do you like today to start this weekend set? A marquee matchup in the Bronx.
Ooh, you got that tough analytical edge that you say, yeah, I don't know if I want to walk over because I just might fall off it today because Chris Flexen is on the mound. You say to yourself, okay, last 60 days, not a ton of batters that he's faced, but his ERA, Ben, here as I look at it, is 0.98. You like to see that. Now let's go over his some other statistical numbers for him. Last 58 batters, Ben. What if I told you his ISO against is 109? Woo! Like that. Weighted on base percentage, 231 against? Oh, man, this might be the guy you need. Here's where he gets in trouble. His strikeout percentage on the season, 13%. You go into the Bronx, you play baseball with 80-degree temperatures, you don't strike guys out, those balls tend to end up in the seats here. Jason Dominguez, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Jazz Chisholm, Austin Wells, really nice numbers here with ISO power against right-handed pitching. That'll be a struggle for him to get guys out with Chris Flexen. But again, the struggle that I say is, hey, his numbers look good, but his analytics say the ball is going to be in play. That's usually not a good sign. Now, check out Chicago. Usually take a look at Chicago's lineup and say, let me just focus on the first 3 to 4 batters in that lineup, and whatever I get from the bottom guys is going to be a plus. Yeah. Carlos Rodon's a left-handed pitcher. I look at his statistics over the past 60 days. They're decent. Are they burning it up? Not necessarily. But how about this? You look at him as a lefty pitcher. He gets lefties out left and right. Fantastic. Right-handed batters are different stories. Last 90 batters, Ben, take a look at a low K percentage of only 16%, a walk rate of 11%, an ISO against of 269, a weighted on base percentage against of 392. But as I said, how about the first couple guys in that lineup? You know, the Ian Happs, the Kyle Tuckers, and the Seiya Suzuki's, who've all been very good. They're not good against lefties. But how about this? Starting with Pete Crow Armstrong, 229 ISO against. Stanley Swanson, 276. Carson Kelly, 250. Nico Horner, 292. Justin Turner, 400. So if you get anything out of the first three guys, which is usually the guys that you lean on, and then start with Pete Crow Armstrong, maybe you get something sneaky here. I look at that plus 150 price and say, you know what? I like that price point because it's the Cubs at a good number. And if you can get flexing just to say, hey, buddy, give me 4 innings, 1 or 2 earned runs, and you're in it at a plus 150 number, why not operate that well? Obviously, Rodon's a much better pitcher, don't get me wrong. But Flexen's numbers say, can he just be slippery for one more game, Ben?
PCA, yesterday DRS, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs for the Cubbies. He's got 25 long balls, 27 stolen bases, 70 RBIs. The only player in MLB history, and Crow Armstrong is only 23, to have 25 homers, 25 stolen bases, and 70 RBIs ahead of the All-Star break. And he's got 3 games to add on. Chris Flexen, not the best pitcher. Carlos Rodon, pretty solid. The best pitcher, though, in Major League Baseball, certainly in the American League right now, that's Tarek Skubal. His last 2 outings, DRS, 7 innings of work in both. He has allowed a total of 4 hits in those 2 starts. Not a single earned run with a total of 23 Ks. He is 10-2. The Tigers have won 12 of his last 13 starts. In Detroit, a minus 240 favorite tonight in Motown against the Seattle Mariners, who swept the Pirates over the weekend at home and then were swept during the midweek by the Yankees in the Bronx. What do you like tonight in Detroit?
You do not want to face aces in the final series before the All-Star break. And I said, well, why? You don't want to face them anytime. Yeah, understandably. But let's talk about like a Detroit mindset right now, because Tarek Skubal is the best pitcher, let's just say, in Major League Baseball. And you're saying today that he has 98 pitches in the 7th inning and is doing well. And they go, up, got to bring him out 5 days. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. You go, these 3 games, you have an entire week off. He's going to get extended rest. Now, that doesn't mean it's a license to abuse Tarek Skubal and say he can go $140 tonight and do a complete game regardless of the circumstances. But if we're looking at an extra 10 pitches to get you through an inning or an extra half inning, this might be the game to do it, because you look at Seattle. Yeah, we like them. They're a good team. Skubal's on a different level. You figure he's going to shut it down. And by the way, Luis Castillo on the other side, he's got pretty good numbers over the past 60 days, but he does get hit by lefties. So if you're looking for RBI props, Cole Keith is in there, Wenzel Perez, Riley Green, Zach McKinstry. You get the point on those. But I look at that total, Ben, and I just want to keep it simple. Do I think Detroit wins? Yes. Do I want to pay that price, $225? No, I don't. But understand this, getting to 8 runs, which means both of these pitchers giving up probably 3 runs over 6 innings, I don't think that's happening here. This game screams, once again, 4-3 or less, and I'll take my chances we don't get to 8 runs with a couple of left-handed RBI out of the Detroit Tigers.
DRS, that total of 7 feels like a May number, not the middle of July, but I think it speaks to the strength, of course, of tonight's pitching matchup in Motown. Our second game of a 4-game set to end out the first half before the All-Star break between divisional foes. Red Sox and Rays tonight in Boston in Fenway. Line is flipped. The Sox now an ever so slight favorite at home. They rallied last night to win 4-3 against Tampa. Total is 9. We can hit on it more, DRS, on the other side of the break. But what is your early look for this second game in Beantown?
Maybe we wake up on offense because the runners in scoring position certainly weren't helping out yesterday. But you take a look at 76 degrees now, up about 10 degrees of what we saw last night. When that ballpark gets warm, you used to get hits. And also, quickly on Hunter Dobbins, really good numbers, but he also walks too many guys and doesn't strike guys out. That'll get you in trouble.
We continue going all around MLB on this Full Slate Friday. Next.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Knecht's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Knecht, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Knecht 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
I mean, Houston beat the snot out of the Dodgers, 18-1. And this is what happens here. Oral Hershiser doing the game for the Dodgers brings up the cheating scandal, going, oh, they must know the signs because they're hitting curveballs like they know it's coming. It's like, oh boy, does he really want to go down that rabbit hole again here? I think this is one of those nights where they got destroyed. Yeah, hey, it happens in baseball here. But just found that an interesting comment by Oral Hershiser. Start bringing up the cheating scandal again.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
You have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means, like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Tony Gwynn had 107 career at-bats against Greg Maddux. Never struck out once.
Oh, that's nuts.
In 107 times. 107. Cam, if you took the modern player and said, are you going to face Maddux 107 times in a row? Like Vlad Guerrero Jr. and these guys, they'd strike out like 62 times type thing.
Exactly.
They'd be like 80 times. They'd be like whiffing.
Sports Rage tonight. Only on SportsGrid.
Game number 2 of a 4-game divisional set between the Rays and the Red Sox to end out this final weekend ahead of the All-Star break. DRS, the Boston Red Sox, winners of 7 in a row, playing themselves into a wild card spot at this moment in the American League. An ever so slight home favorite tonight in game number 2 against Tampa. You were talking about that total right before the break. It is 9.
Yeah.
Might we see the offense pick up on this Friday evening at Fenway?
Yeah, just take a look at the recent game log here for Rasmussen, because he does have pretty good statistics over the past 60 days. Only 2 innings pitched at Minnesota during the start of that game. I don't know if that was maybe a rain delay, because I obviously don't think he went out with injury, because he wouldn't be pitching today on his normal rest. Before that, against the Athletics, 3 innings pitched and only 4 earned runs there. So hasn't really gone out of the 3rd inning in the past 2, which is really a concern at this point, because the one thing that you do love with the bats here for Boston, you look going up just against right-handed pitching, you know, Duran's got positive numbers. Roman Anthony's got positive numbers. Abreu, Story, Yoshida, and Rafaela. This seems to me like I'm looking at this game saying, if Dobbins doesn't strike guys out, and Rasmussen isn't his usual self going at least 5 or 6 innings, why can't we get those numbers? And again, a bounce back in the weather situation where we were dealing with 66, 67 degrees, now 77 degrees. That makes a big difference in a small ballpark. But if I'm looking at it and saying, you know what, being optimistic, I still would give the edge to Tampa Bay, to be honest, because I think the better pedigree pitcher is Rasmussen. Give me 5 normal innings out of him. They should be able to win that game, because Dobbins, even though the ISO numbers are low the last 30 days, the weighted on base percentages are low. If you're not striking guys out, I think that Tampa Bay lineup can hit today. I'll go with the Rays.
Another divisional duel to end out the final weekend ahead of the All-Star break. An in-state showdown between the foes, the Astros and the Rangers. Texas scoring 11 runs yesterday in a high-scoring 4-game set all week in Anaheim to split that 4-game series with the Angels. Baseball is a funny thing, man. The Astros entered 24-8 into their midweek set against the Guardians. They were the best team since the start of June in the Bigs. The Guardians entered this week in Houston, dropping 10 consecutive. Cleveland swept Houston on the road in H-Town. The Stros trying to get back into the win column, a slight favorite at home tonight. DRS, what do you like between the Rangers and the Astros?
I'll tell you, here's what's interesting about Lance McCullers. 3 games ago against the White Sox, 5 innings pitched, 4 earned runs. 2 games ago against the Chicago Cubs, doing like that Chicago sweep there. 3 in the 3rd innings pitched, 8 earned runs, but really bounced back in that series where you saw against the Dodgers, where the Houston Astros were phenomenal. He went 6 innings, 1 earned run, but only 4 strikeouts. And if you combine his last 2 starts over 9 1/3 innings, it's only 5 total strikeouts. It used to be Lance McCullers coming up through Major League Baseball, had a devastating breaking pitch and a hammer arm, but since the injuries have really slowed him down. Does that mean that we think that Houston can just get lit up tonight by the Texas Rangers bats? I'm not saying that. But as we started the show today having fun with Corey Seager, man, he looks perfect again tonight. 78 at-bats against right-handed pitching over the past month, Ben. A 333 ISO and a 426 weighted on-base percentage and a low K rate against a guy that doesn't strike very many guys out. He's got to be on your card tonight for at least an RBI, extra bases, whatever you want to bet. Jack Leiter, not in love with him either. Right-handed pitcher doesn't get right-handed bats out, and you're going to see a lot of right-handed bats tonight. So if I'm looking from a perspective of a team total, maybe I go Houston. If I want a betting side for Texas, it's going to be Corey Seager to get an extra base hit and or an RBI in this game tonight.
DRS, the New York Mets yesterday in a doubleheader in Baltimore. Lost both against the O's. New York now on the road to end out their final weekend ahead of the All-Star break in Kansas City against the Royals. Enter the ace, Kodai Senga. The Mets minus 136 as a road moneyline favorite on this Friday. You see the graphic. They need a strong finish. It's been a little bit shaky. Tail end of June, here now in July, dropping 2 straight against Baltimore in a doubleheader yesterday. How will the Mets finish their final weekend set before the All-Star break?
They should do well. There's some rain in the forecast there, but 12-mile-an-hour winds blowing out and 80-degree temperatures. You do have to like that. Disappointing were the Mets at the plate yesterday, even though an all-team total of over 2.5 runs does sort of help the parlay, but there were much lower expectations that ended up with than what I thought to start the day. But having said that, Michael Wacha coming into the card today, Ben, 27th out of 31 pitchers over the past 60 days with a minimum of 10 innings pitched here with an xFIP minus of minus 112. It's not that bad, but that ERA is at a 4.53 and the xFIP number is a 4.60. You look square in that number and say, look at Juan Soto's last 70 at-bats against right-handed pitching, a 473 ISO and a 562 weighted on base percentage. He should be on your card. But you know what? I also have a pretty good read on the Mets. I think the Mets are going to win this game too. That minus 135 or so price, probably worth your while today with Senga on the mound.
Kodai Senga is back, his first start in nearly a month. He has been really good this year when healthy, 7-3 with a 1.47 ERA. More baseball breakdowns on the other side of the break.
Cooper flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flag and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year of Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Things you have to look at is what the team has the following day, especially when it comes to bullpen usage. You know, a lot of the things I like to attack is you see these extra inning games, these games get drawn out, these bullpens get worn, or if someone gets shelled the first 3 innings and they got to go to the pen, you know, early, you know, that's a good spot to kind of hop in the middle of the next game. You know, you got a tired bullpen, right? You try and take advantage there, maybe with an over, maybe with the money line. We're getting plus money on a favorite at that point.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Piece of an interesting couple of weeks in California. If you recall, just I think it was 2 weeks ago, language was inserted into a bill that would outlaw or ban sweepstakes casinos and sports betting, which of course we've seen lots of that happen this year. So California is an interesting market because, as you've said, there is no legal online casino. There is no legal online sports betting.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devin Booker had to run the point when Chris Paul was hurt. And we're like, Devin Booker's a point guard. Devin Booker's not a point guard. Neither is Jalen Green. So I need to know what to get rid of Bradley Beal, who cannot be on that team. Who is the point guard? And then I think as a sixth man, I actually don't mind it with Jalen Green.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
A full slate Friday around Major League Baseball in the final weekend series all around the bigs ahead of the All-Star break that starts at the end of Sunday's action with our All-Star festivities in Atlanta. Helping us break it all down, Colby Marchio joins us here on this Friday to go all around the diamond, a betting analyst for Betting News with a focus here today on Major League Baseball. Colby, we appreciate the time. Thanks so much for being here on this Friday.
No, thank you guys. Happy Friday.
We've got a great betting card from you. We look forward to breaking it all down. And Colby, let's start in Minneapolis, where two All-Stars will represent the Twins for Minnesota in Atlanta this upcoming week. Byron Buxton, who will be, we hope, involved in the home run derby, was plunked on the left hand, leaving a game earlier this week. And the starter today in the Twin Cities, that is Joe Ryan, named an All-Star for the first time. And on the other side, pretty good pitcher as well. That would be Paul Skeens for Pittsburgh. Minnesota still an ever so slight home favorite. Total is 7, up from 6.5 as you see it there. Colby, what do you like today in Minneapolis between Joe Ryan and Paul Skeens?
I love Joe Ryan's strikeouts today at 6.5, minus 130. A little juicy, but I think it's worth paying the price. You could also ladder it up to 8 if you want and get the plus money, but he averaged over this number at home this season in 16 elite strikeout ratings on batters-box. Goes over 6 75% of the time, 7 strikeouts 56% of the time, 8 strikeouts 37% of the time. He's gone over this number 7 of his last 10 elite strikeout ratings. The Pirates have been putrid. It's the Pirates. Do I really need to go on? But I'll just go on and tell you, they have no elite rated hitters on batters-box, no hitters above the league ground ball rate, which is great when you want strikeouts. You want the Ks, you don't want the ground balls. They have 8 hitters above the league strikeout rate. This is the worst offense over the last month in baseball, one of the worst offenses on the road overall. Dead last in K percentage over the last 7 days and 5th worst over the last 30 days. I think the 6.5 is a great price regardless of the juice. Or a great number.
Yeah, it's crazy to take a look at. Yeah, that Pittsburgh lineup is just abusive every single time out there. It's like you throw a party to get 3 runs and you expect your pitchers to have 1 or less runs in each game. It's crazy talk here. Let's get up to the West Coast tonight because Philadelphia is going to take on San Diego. The Philadelphia Phillies, an interesting team at times where they can't hit, then all of a sudden they throw a 13 spot out at San Francisco and Verlander on the mound. Now, they go a little bit south to San Diego. They're going to face Berger today, but the one constant with the Philadelphia Phillies here, Colby, has been the starting pitching. And Ranger Suarez, one of those guys, has been absolutely lights out. We're listed at 8 tonight as a total, but a favorite for the Phillies. Bryce Harper, who was struggling coming back from the IL, hits a home run and then adds on 3 doubles in the same game. A very good sign for the Phillies. How do you approach the game in San Diego tonight with how good the Phillies starting pitching? Is it an automatic under in these type of situations, or are there other instruments that you like to use and try to use to your advantage in this one?
This one's a tough game. I honestly think this game's disgusting. Yeah. I would honestly take the under. I mean, the studs for the Padres have kind of gone off over the last few days, and they kind of have to come down to earth eventually. So I would lean with the Phillies in this one, or just the under overall. It really didn't come across my desk, if you will, this morning. But yeah, I lean with the under because the Padres offense has kind of exploded over the last 2 games.
Ranger Suarez has been great this year. The ace for Philadelphia, Zach Wheeler, has been lights out. And Colby, it's been a theme we've hit on a few times here this week. The race for the National League Cy Young Award. Earlier in the week, Paul Skeens, despite what Wheeler was doing, and Skeens has been great this year, his team not so much, was the minus money favorite to win NL Cy Young. Straw poll comes out earlier this week. Everybody gives its praise to Zach Wheeler. He now is the minus money favorite. Skeens on the bump today. We expect Wheeler at some point this weekend ahead of the All-Star break. Who would you book as the favorite right now to win the NL Cy Young Award?
Well, not to pat myself on the back, humble brag, but as an owner of a 12-1 ticket of a Zach Wheeler Cy Young Award winner, I would love for him to forever be the leader of the odds board on the Cy Young Award because he's the most consistent pitcher in baseball. I know everyone's dying to give it to Paul Skeens because he's nothing short of impressive, but Wheeler's almost done, and I think that is a little bit more of a reason why to give him the award. He's also never going to miss any games because he's always out there. And if he does miss, it's because he's having a kid. So he's the most consistent pitcher in baseball, and he's been very dominant. That June was the most perfect performance that I could have asked for as someone that had a ticket on him to win Cy Young. I understand if Paul Skeens wins it this year, he's impressive, but I think Wheeler might have it. this season. I think it's his year to win it.
Yeah, you get the extras also down the line, because the one thing that he has said in the past, like, you know what, I do want to win a World Series, but boy, right up there with it is that Cy Young and how much it would mean to him, and certainly having that Cy Young countable year, no doubt about it. Let's get to some action, Colby, that you like tonight as well, with maybe some angles. And I'm talking about an 8-10 start in Houston tonight, the Battle of Texas. The Texas Rangers taking on the Houston Astros. It's Leiter versus McCullers. The total of this game listed at 8.5, and a slight favorite now for Houston at around a minus 125 or so price if we're looking at the live numbers. What type of angle do you like in this game between Texas and Houston today?
I love the Rangers' first 5 team total over at 1.5, minus 145. I was shopping around. It was 140 when I first saw it. Then I went back to that book. 145. I'm still willing to pay it under 150. This is a top 10 offense over the last month, 6 overall in the last 7 and 14 days. On the road, they averaged 2.76 runs in the first 5. This is the highest rated offense on Batters-Box today. 6 elite rated hitters in the default ratings, which dates back 3 years. And Lance McCullers has been horrendous at home. 11.37 ERA, 293 opponent batting average in 5 starts. And you're probably wondering, well, those are probably some really good teams that he faced. Sorta. I mean, the Cubs, great. The White Sox, the A's, the Mariners, and the Reds all have scored over this number today. McCullers is the worst-rated pitcher on Batters-Box. Poor average hitter, WOBA, ISO, and hard contact, giving up nearly 50% hard contact. And the cherry on top, 85% of his pitches are below league average.
Big weekend set between these two in-state and divisional foes. The Rangers did win the 4th and final game of their series this week in Anaheim against the Halos yesterday, scoring 11 runs. Colby, the issue for Texas this year has not been the pitching, which has been elite to start. It is that offense, but as you mentioned, as we near the All-Star break, on the uptick. 32 total runs in the final 3 games of their set against the Halos in Anaheim in the midweek. We've got another divisional duel and an in-state showdown this week in San Francisco to end out our final weekend before the All-Star break. It's the Giants and the Dodgers, the old rivalry renewed tonight by the Bay. Logan Webb, also maybe in that NL Cy Young conversation, on the bump for SF. It is why they are a home favorite. You do not see the Dodgers as an underdog often. So, Colby, what do you like tonight up there in San Francisco?
Love the face of baseball. I love the face of baseball tonight. Shohei Ohtani, his base is at minus 110. That's a really good price for Shohei Ohtani. I always say anything at plus money for Shohei bases is an automatic play. But the one thing that grabbed me was his home run today is 4-1. That's a misprice. And that is in itself an automatic play because the Shohei Ohtani do not give me a price like that. And it's like, I don't understand. He's going up against Logan Webb, who's phenomenal, but I think Shohei is the better bat versus the pitcher. And he went 0 for 3 on Wednesday on the road, 276 average, 626 slugging, 1018 OPS, 78 elite ratings on Batters-Box. On the road, 76% of the time records a hit, 32% of the time 2 hits, 58% of the time goes over his bases prop, and 32% of the time hits a home run. Webb allows 35% hard contact against lefties, 272 batting average, 408 slugging, 718 OPS. His sinker is his most thrown pitch. Shohei's batting 286, 923 OPS, 167 WRC plus. It's a misprice. If I lose it, who cares? I've been losing the last month and a half. I can live with losing another bet. But 4-1 is a ridiculous price for the best hitter in baseball.
You don't often see that number for Shohei Ohtani to hit a big fly. He's got 31 of those big flies this year. Third most in the bigs behind Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge, but the most in the National League. Colby Marchio joining us today, a betting analyst for Betting News and getting you set for a full slate Friday around the bigs. Colby, we appreciate the time, man. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate your time and being on the show today. We will continue breaking down the slate, getting ready for the final weekend around the bigs ahead of the All-Star break. Up next.
Against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flagg and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year of Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Things you have to look at is what the team has the following day, especially when it comes to bullpen usage. A lot of the things I like to attack is you see these extra inning games, these games get drawn out, these bullpens get worn, or if someone gets shelled the first 3 innings and they got to go to the pen, early, that's a good spot to kind of hop in the middle of the next game. You got a tired bullpen, right? You try and take advantage there, maybe with an over, maybe with the money line. You're getting plus money on a favorite at that point.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Piece of an interesting couple of weeks in California. If you recall, I think it was 2 weeks ago, language was inserted into a bill that would outlaw or ban sweepstakes casinos and sports betting, which of course we've seen lots of that happen this year. So California is an interesting market because, as you've said, there is no legal online casino. There is no legal online sports betting.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devin Booker had to run the point when Chris Paul was hurt. And we're like, Devin Booker's a point guard. Devin Booker's not a point guard. Neither is Jalen Green. So I need to know what to get rid of Bradley Beal, who cannot be on that team, who is the point guard, and then I think as a sixth man, I actually don't mind it with Jalen Green.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
DRS and myself, a couple of Sacramento guys. Doug Christie is our favorite NBA head coach, and we are big believers in the Athletics young core. The all-star starter at short, Jacob Wilson, and a guy that has been lights out since heading up to the major leagues, Nick Kurtz for the A's as well. Today, the highest priced man in Athletics franchise history who has not lived up to that paycheck, DRS. That is Luis Severino, who hates Sacramento, the opposite of a Sacktown guy. He gets the start today against one of the best teams in baseball as of late, the Toronto Blue Jays. Max Scherzer makes the start today for Toronto. Minus 162, the price in favor of the Jays on the road against Sevy and the Athletics. That total, now 11. We are expecting some runs tonight in California's capital. What are we going to see?
Let me tell you something here. Luis Severino, if we take a look at the card today, 31 pitchers on there. Luis Severino is 31st. Luis Severino has a 130 xFIP minus. Luis Severino has a 6.71 ERA. And Luis Severino has a 5.33 xFIP number over the past 60 days. Let's take a look at his last 30 days. 123 batters that he's faced. If we combine left-handed batters and right-handed batters, that's a 229 ISO, which is elevated. That's a 392 weighted on base percentage, which is elevated. A K rate of 10%. So if you're giving up hard contact and you're not striking anybody out, you're going to be in trouble. But sometimes, Ben, you can skirt those rules and make, hey, man, whoo, Chicago White Sox are in town. We get a little bit of a breather. That is not the case. Toronto, let me just read you the weighted on base percentages over the anticipated starting 9 tonight from Toronto's side. 363, 501, 367, 336, 410, 333, 403, 374, and then a low point with Ernie Clement at 280. So that means 8+ batters out of 9 in a hitting environment that will be 90 degrees once again at first pitch, going up against one of the worst pitchers in the league, specifically in the environment where he hates pitching at home. So psychologically, it's already in his head. Am I saying that means automatic 6 runs that you can just count on? Because that's what you're going to need. But if you need a parlay piece, if you need, let's just say, an all-team total, if you need some RBI props, if you need some base hits, Toronto is your team tonight, Ben.
The Jays did have their 10-game win streak snapped in their finale on Wednesday against the White Sox in Chicago. The Jays have still been lights out. They have won 13 of their last 16. That offense is spiking at the right time, and the Blue Jays still maintain a 2.5-game lead in the American League East. Now, Luis Severino has been very public about his disdain of pitching in the AAA ballpark in Sacramento. His stats overall this year, a 5.30 ERA, a 2-10 record. But DRS at home in Sacktown, he is 0-8 in 11 starts with a 7.04 ERA. And one of my favorite things about this entire conversation, Severino gets the billing, the highest paid player in the history of the Athletics. It is a 3-year, $67 million deal. We're talking $500 million contracts now in baseball. Juan Soto signed for $765 million. In 3 years, $67 million for Severino is the richest to ever do it for the A's. Not all that far from Sacramento. Let's go to San Francisco, Oracle Park tonight between the Giants and the Dodgers. As we talked about with Colby Marchio, he loves Shohei Ohtani today, but a difficult challenge in the opposition, DRS, and Logan Webb getting the nod for San Francisco. The Giants, a -130 home money line favorite, total 7.5. Divisional duel, rivalry renewed between the Dodgers and the Giants. How does it begin on this Friday?
Like, I think you're getting the Dodgers at the right time because most people say, I don't care who's pitching. I don't care who's in the lineup. I'm just going to take the Dodgers at a +108. I'm not going to do that. Like, by far, Logan Webb is the better pitcher on the mound today than against Dustin May. You take a look at Logan Webb's last 60 days, a 2.63 ERA, a 2.64 xFIP number, and an xFIP minus of 66. He's been nothing short of spectacular. And if it wasn't for Tarek Skubal on the mound today, he would be the best pitcher. And that also includes Paul Skeens on the roster today to be throwing some pitches. But Dustin May does struggle with lefties. Are there going to be a ton of lefties in the lineup for San Francisco tonight? Not necessarily. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 with a switch hitter and Patrick Bailey, who's not that great of a hitter anyway. But for me, it just comes down to if I'm looking at this environment tonight and saying, I'm just going to go toe-to-toe with these two starting pitchers, I'm going to lean on San Francisco. Might be different if LA's coming in winners of 7 of 8 games and back on strike. But I do think, like, Shohei Ohtani does have good numbers against right-handed pitching, but this is a different right-handed pitcher. It's Logan Webb. I trust Logan Webb to get the job done tonight in a lower-scoring game. I'll take San Francisco as a favorite over the Dodgers.
The Dodgers have lost 6 straight. They were swept at home at the Ravine in a marquee weekend set a week ago by the Astros, and then they were swept in Milwaukee by the Brew Crew this week. They're trying to snap that slide and get back in a better form entering the All-Star break. All that being said, DRS, 56-38. The Dodgers still by a half game in front of the Cubs, the best record in the National League, and the Dodgers maintain a 5-game advantage atop their division in front of those Giants. The Dodgers only booked as a dog 13 games this year. Tonight, number 14. They are 6-7 straight up in those previous 13. You know what's crazy about a team that is 12 games below 500 in the Atlanta Braves? They've only been an underdog 18 times this year. They are 4-14, though, as a dog. And tonight, they're still a road favorite under the arch in St. Louis. -120. Gavin Holmes gets the start. Donnie's favorite pitcher, the Big Lib, Matthew Liberatore on the other side. St. Louis now a slight underdog. Over-under is 9. Final weekend set for both teams before the All-Star break. Atlanta is craving it before they welcome everybody to the A. How does it begin on this Friday night in the Lou?
Paid late last night. Now you got to jump on a plane. You're not playing good baseball. You see the finish line of the first half of the season. It's not going well for Atlanta. You're just hobbling to get into it. Meanwhile, you have St. Louis saying, we still got a lot to fight for. 85-degree temperatures, a wind blowing out to left field. You love to see that. Matthew Liberatore is a decent pitcher, but also, what are we getting on a night-to-night basis out of that Atlanta Braves lineup? Like, okay, like Acuna, like Matt Olson, I get it, but also understand this. The other side, you do have a decent pitcher on the mound in Grant Holmes. His last 60 days, Ben, 2.73 ERA. He should keep you in this. But if there's one play I'd like to make, it's Alec Burleson to record an RBI tonight. Excellent numbers against right-handed pitching. And if Holmes does struggle anywhere, it's actually against left-handed batters. So Burleson for an RBI tonight for me.
Grant Holmes. I called him Gavin. He's our guy. Beautiful chops on the stash. DRS, enjoy money line. More early line next.
That is the idea. It really is for in-game live. You said it. The home team, who's a double-digit or close to it anyway, favorite, and get off to a bad start and actually have them trailing by 5, 6, 7 to the point where you get it at pick'em. And I don't know how many times. I'd like to know a stat of how many times a team that's been favored by double digits, trailed by double digits, and actually won the game. I bet it's a lot.
In-game live only on SportsGrid.
You've got issues up and down here. The bullpen is falling apart, to put it nicely. And have you seen the schedule for the Yankees for the rest of the month of July here? We have Seattle, then we have the Cubs, then you have Atlanta, then you have Toronto again in Toronto. That really didn't go all that well this week. And then you have Philadelphia and Tampa. Good luck to the Yankees in July here.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Knecht's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Knecht, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Knecht 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Time for the Blue Jays to really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back. Can they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue? They're looking in to be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, like, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. Like, it's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, like, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going like, ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that were in household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Round out this Friday live right here on the early line. A couple of more minutes before we go for the week and send you into your weekend. An extra full Friday slate, by the way, around Major League Baseball. 16 games, the first of 4 yesterday between the Guardians and the White Sox to end out their final weekend set before the All-Star break rained out. So a doubleheader today on this Friday on the south side of Chicago is scheduled. One last check at Wimbledon. Not looking great for the American Taylor Fritz at the moment. On serve, but down by a game in the fourth set. He dropped the third set. So Carlos Alcaraz leads 2-1, needing to win just a few more points, a few more games to wrap this up in 4 and head back to the Wimbledon final for the third consecutive year, looking for his third straight. Again, Jannik Sinner and Novak Djokovic in that second semifinal on this Friday that will start right after the first between Fritz and Alcaraz. World number 1, Jannik Sinner, dealing with an elbow issue, has looked a little bit shaky on grass at times throughout this fortnight at the championships. Wimbledon still a hefty favorite in front of the veteran Djokovic at minus 235. Do not forget, it was Carlos getting past Novak in the previous 2 men's finals. Jannik Sinner yet to make a men's final at Wimbledon in his illustrious early career. Earlier in the show, hour number 2, you saw a large smile on my face because on this Football Friday, in this football month of July, we started breaking down conference odds around college football. And of course, my nickname still precedes me. It is Big Ten Ben. So a focus once more on the Big Ten title odds entering 2025. Big Ten Media Days. How about this? In Las Vegas, not this upcoming week, but the next week. What happened in Indianapolis, man? Shouldn't be in Las Vegas. Different story for a different time. We talked about those conference odds around the Big Ten. Ohio State are reigning national champs, the favorites to win the conference in 2025 at plus 185. Do not forget, the Bucs did not even play in the conference championship game last year in Indy. It was Oregon getting the better of Penn State. The Ducks have that third best number, plus 340. Penn State has the second best price at plus 240. Not much returning talent for the reigning Big Ten champs in Eugene this year. A couple of guys up front defensively, Mateo Uiagalelei, the younger brother of DJ, the Big Ten sack leader last year with 10.5. But they're breaking in a ton of new talent offensively, most notably the quarterback who is presumed to start this year for Oregon. That would be Dante Moore, the young talent who transferred from UCLA entering last season. This is the year for James Franklin. How many times have we uttered those exact words in Happy Valley for Penn State? The Nittany Lions have a decently difficult schedule this year, unlike last year, but so much returning talent. It is crazy. Drew Aller, both of the running backs alongside him in the backfield. Nick Singleton and Katron Allen. A stacked O-line as well, and a defense that was top 5 in the country that adds defensive coordinator Jim Knowles from Penn State and has so much talent. Denied Dennis Sutton, Zachy Wheatley on the side, Zachai Wheatley, in the back end for Penn State as well. So much to like in terms of the linebackers core. Dominic DeLuca, man, I can't speak right now, and Zane Durant for Penn State as well up front. You see that price on Michigan. Sharon Moore ended the year, his first in Ann Arbor, in the national championship defense in what was a disappointing season, on a bright spot. They pulled the upset over Ohio State in the shoe as a 3-touchdown underdog with all their backups, basically. They hammer Alabama in the ReliaQuest Bowl. Michigan in year number 2 under Sharon Moore. Tough non-conference game week number 2 that Moore will be suspended for because of the sign-stealing scandal against his alma mater in Norman against Oklahoma. But the Big Ten slate, as easy as you will find for the Wolverines. Lincoln Riley, year number 5 in LA for USC. Is this the year that Nebraska finally contends for a conference crown? Go look up Matt Rule in year number 3 at his previous spots. Iowa, always consistent. Indiana, the college football playoff team out of the Big Ten a season ago. Some believe there is a drop-off in Bloomington. I'm not so sure. 3 preseason All-Americans for this IU side. Mikhail Kamara on the other side. D'Angelo Pons as a cornerback, and Elijah Surratt. But I'll tell you this right now. Keep an eye on the Illinois Fighting Illini to be that surprise college football playoff team out of the Big Ten in 2025. That does it for us this week on the Early Line. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll talk Monday.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. What, he 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
Cooper flag against Bronny James feels like Mike DeCourcy against Mike Tyson. I'm sorry. I mean, let's be real about this. We're talking about a generational prospect in Cooper Flag, and LeBron's kid who averaged 5.5 points in his 1 year of Division I basketball. I'm not saying LeBron is a poor player, but I don't see him as an equal attraction or an equal.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
You don't want a big that's camped out under the basket and clogging the lane. He provides a lot of really good defense, a lot of three-point shooting, and again, younger than Brook Lopez. It is a good match. I just don't think it moves the needle, but as we talked about to open the show, when Giannis Antetokounmpo was saying, we're not just going to sit here this year and say, oh, Dame's down, let's just take a pause year because I'd rather go try to chase a championship. So at least they're being honest and saying, we're going to make this team better.
The Early Line, only on Sports.